Sunday morning. There's only one thing for it on this beautiful, glorious day. Up here to pull main cable through the ducting we put in the ground to pull extra additional wiring back through that we're putting in modulars and modular buildings. That's Sunday plan. So the plan this morning is that we will need to get a bit of round bar to go through the cable reel. And is what my thinking is, young Paddy Gavin from Gavin Contracts is going to come up and give me a hand with this because the spark hasn't done it, so we need to get this done ASAP before the planting of the new laurel bushes are going to go in. So my plan is get a tube or a round bar if you can, put it through the reel of cable and then adjust the forks out the telehandler, lift the reel up on either side of the pole or the bar, whatever I can put through the cable, and hopefully if we can get round bar it should let the cable rotate, or the drum rotate that the cable's on. Right, up to the workshop. So two options: galvanized tube, which from having the workshop, and a gate post, which I think the hole within the reel just might work. Right, let's see. Or right or wrong. No, sir. Oh, bonjour. Now, I wonder. We might go for the pole through that. Let's just see here. Wait a second. Hold on. I'll put the Sharpie end in first. No, that's even better. Although I hate timber on timber. If the post isn't strong enough to lift the reel, well then we will always go for steel. But we humped that into the back of the van. So me and another fella. So it is heavy, but not heavy enough for us. Let's get the beast started. And yes, of course, I should be using the GoPro for this, obs, but yeah, that'd be too easy. Let's lock that one in, and let's hopefully even get Ben up this morning to do a bit of piloting. So Ben is the seat right up to the steering wheel like he does in the car, which I don't understand why, because he's actually taller than me, same height as me, but he's probably a bit taller. But anyway, so is life. Let's still heat the wee lady up. JCB, not a fan, used to work at them, and although they're a good enough machine, I always base machines, even trucks, trailers, cars, vans, all the amount of stuff that I've worked at over the years. That's how I base a good vehicle. You know, trucks is a good example. When people ask me what's a good truck, and you know your background experience with trucks, I'm very privileged to the point of my experience from working at them, mechanicking at them, driving them, sleeping in them, living in them for a while. You know, you get the whole package. So people talk about doing truck reviews and all, and they're talking about maybe from a driver point of view only, from an operator point of view only, from a maintenance point of view only, but put them all together and you get a damn good review. So any truck manufacturer out there that want a good review, hit me up. As a sponsorship, obviously. That's what I mean. Right, let's go. Obviously we're going to lower the boom a bit for anybody who doesn't know, so we can at least see the mirror. As you know, guys, do a lot of plant machinery training as well, and I think we brought a couple of forklift training courses. We brought telehandler training courses on video content, maybe, I don't know, 8 years ago maybe. We used to do a lot of training, government training. So places we go, we can't record or sometimes we don't want to record because obviously we don't want to maybe promote that particular business. And what we'll do is in our training centre we might just do a whole, because we do a lot of company bespoke training videos and video content. So what we might do is just bring some of our own machine in the plant down to our HQ, down to any of our training centres, and then do a pile of training videos and put them out there for you guys, because it's not just the mundane boring video content, it's more of the tips and tricks, even to go back to the very start of how you get in and out, how you secure the doors, how doors work, into the, like for example, most places you go you will not cover all the switches and just basic things of what they're there for and how to use them and why you would use them, things like that. Anyway, it's Sunday morning, we need to go. So it is, I don't know, 20 something degrees, and yes, I've got a hoodie on, but the problem is the weather is absolutely beautiful and then it just starts pissing out of heavens. So a bit of a change of plan. First of all, duct tape, not insulating tape, and a reel of rope. So obviously we're going to tie the rope to pull the wire through, the cable through, both ways. So we'll pull it through, and then at any stage if we need to run cable or wire back down the ducting, all the ducting under the site here, this particular site, with 6-inch and 2-inch, we have Cat 6 internet cable running the whole perimeter of the site, which is, I think in that one swoop alone it's 200 metres maybe. So yeah, the rope's vitally important at this stage, not later when you're panicking looking to pull through maybe another set of wires or cables. So the plan's changed a wee bit. I want to use this galvanised bar because timber will rotate on steel better than it will on timber, if you get me. Right, let's try and come up with a plan here. Okay, we have a problem. So from that lamppost there, we have the manhole in the ground opposite it, and the problem there is that we need to pull the cable out, feed it into the ducting through the manhole, and pull it up the whole side of this here site behind me, and then through that whole duct under the ground there until it comes to the other end of that hedge line, and then round the other side of the building and then through the fuse box. But the problem is, to use the telehandler here, we're going to have to, because my new grass, I do not want my new lawns drove on, we're going to have to, obviously the perfect situation would be to put the telehandler where that brown shade is and then telescope out, but that's not going to work. So I'm thinking go up to the workshop, lift 2 axle stands, and then set that bar on top of the axle stands and see will the drum rotate from that. Right, let's try it. So what have we here? Yes, so I'm thinking these two, well, this truck one that we've had, and I should have another one like that, but yeah, they might have to do. And we're off again. Good morning, ladies. So what do I always say? Work smarter. Don't worry about the etchiness. That's going to pull us out of a hole of the day. When Paddy comes and move the 2 axle stands in a bit. But that will allow us then to jump into this little manhole here, and that'll feed the whole way up around there, whole way up to the other feeding manhole which is in there, and then the whole way along the site to, where are we going? Up until that other end there, and then around the side. Right, so I've been digging around the lands in this area for over 40 years, and there's other parts of it that I would have done a lot of work with my father, groundworks and digging works and building works and construction, all that sort of stuff in around the area. But one thing that has always been is a massive find every single day is bottles, glass bottles, medicine bottles. The whole grounds here are full of it. Now, maybe years and years ago when there was an old cottage behind the camera there, a real old cottage from years ago, maybe that's what they had to fill it at the time, I don't even know. Some of the older guys would tell you that when guys were walking from Listonski town, which is that way, down to Maguire's Bridge, which is that way, this was the only track before the roads were built, and they would go from place to place and then throw in beer bottles and things like that going down the road, possibly. But this is the sort of thing that I find on a regular basis. Now, just look onto this wee bottle. Now, for years I'd have just dumped all this stuff, right? Full of soil here, I'll try and clean it out. But just look at that. Look at the wee lid on it, or the wee hinge on it. How awesome is that? Now, does this make any sense? Now, I'm showing you that, guys, because if anybody knows about that, leave a link in the comments or give me a shout, because the history of it is always fascinated me, because the likes of it's always been bottles, glass bottles, toughened glass bottles. Now, when I say toughened, you have to remember we are digging in the grounds here and have done for over 40 years, whether it's been a shovel, a spade or a digger, and the things don't even break that easy, you know. No way in this lifetime would that skill and ability of making bottles today exist. And you find these guys here. But anyway, just look at that. Even just the end on it. So obviously there must have been some sort of flip lid, possibly. So anyway, leave a comment down below, guys, or send us an email. Or if you know me and you see me about, give me a shout, because I'm fascinated by things. Now, what I used to do is I used to collect a lot of them, and for no particular reason. I have a shelf up in the workshop that has it's an old bench that my father made, and his toolbox he made when he was serving his time as an apprentice as a joiner, and of all them old tools and all, they used to have a collection of them saved up in the workshop. And I started putting wee bits of bottles and things that I found over the years just all together, because the workmanship in it is just deadly, especially when we've Quinn Glass out the road in Darlin, well, insert now, sorry, that make bottles not relevant in any way or not connected in any way. But yeah, if there's any, if you know what it is, let me know. Anyway, just on that note, right, don't know if you can hear that, but I wanted to know first of all was definitely glass, and then what I realised is, I don't know if you can see it here, but it is absolutely filled, maybe you can see it that way, can you? It is absolutely filled with soil, and obviously that is giving the strength to it as well. So I'm going to start poking that stuff out at some stage. It's fascinating, yeah. So when we were doing the groundworks here, we had another old glass bottle type, and this here, as you can see the name of it, and I'll clean that off, which was the, sorry, line in the shot. So Cantrell and Co Limited, or that's a mineral type of company, and then of course they have motor bottles. But let me see what's down here. I know this is such an interesting video, but anyways, I'm just about to walk away here. I've seen another one. Is it still intact? Jesus Christ, what's that there? Bit of broken glass. Just about to walk away, and that's another, but I don't think it's no milk bottle because of the branding on it. What does that say? What does that say? Lemonade? Oh. So it's something creamery. Just can't work that out. Let me see, can we zoom in maybe? So if anybody knows what that is, the hell does that say? Is it something Town Creamery? Anyway, some of the owl hands, or as we like to call them, the mature personnel, give me a shout. Alrighty folks, what is happening? We are back here at HQ. Last clip, we were on our way to Enniskillen to the Killyhevenin Hotel, where we had a large client meeting for a client who came over from the UK, from GB. There were interviews going on, so I popped my head into them to see what was happening. Have we any good clientele coming through? A partner and supplier meeting for all of our health and safety products and compliance aids. So yeah, so very productive morning, so straight back to HQ for public inquiry prep work. Now, having said that, I've now came to HQ to do that. I now have to go back to Enniskillen office to meet with a solicitor and a barrister regarding a public inquiry coming up. And in this particular public inquiry that's coming up, what could I say at the moment about it? Yeah, so obviously the questions we ask as we dive into the compliance side of it and the risk management is that nobody within the company knows who the transport manager is. The transport manager who stayed on the license, nobody knows who it is. So this seemed to be a company that was acquired by another company, and they just kept tiddling away and trading away. So there's massive issues over the entity of the business, the transport manager, it's just going to be an absolute mess, But anyway, that's what we deal with day in, day out. So I might, if I can remember, I might try and keep you up to date with this particular case, because we run these cases, every week we're on some sort of either legal case, court case, in chambers hearing, preliminary hearing, public inquiry, health and safety inquiry, whatever it is. So we'll try and bring you along for this information. Some people find it interesting, some people don't. But the bottom line is, if you don't have these control measures in place, if you can't comply by the conditions and undertakings of your operator's licence, there is no business. Hence why all we do is save lives, livelihoods and businesses daily. Right, back to our Enniskillen office.